This time tomorrow, we'll all have access to the newest Arc Raiders content drop, Flashpoint. As evidenced by the roadmap we've so frequently referenced, there's a handful of items that you can expect, but with today's full reveal, we got a larger understanding of what's coming and how this update is bringing more content than just expected based off of that face value of the roadmap. Today we're taking our first genuine and large look at what's to come beyond just the small teasers we've seen so far, so that you can jump in tomorrow fully aware of what you have on offer. As for tomorrow, keep an eye out. We'll of course have the patch notes and update breakdown as always, with every change you need to know about from the update beyond just the top level content additions. But as well, I think the plan right now is to be streaming as the update going live almost overnight and into the early afternoon here. So we'll be live for quite some time here on the channel, checking it out firsthand, and over on Twitch as well, depending on what platform you prefer. But we'd love to have you guys out there if you want to just chat and talk about the update and check it out together. But anyways, as for this one, drop your thoughts on what you think of this March content drop. Drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all things Arc Raiders, as well as even more FPS content as we round into the next update and what lies beyond. We'd love to have you in the community, but for now, let's get into it. So to start, we did get a teaser trailer for Flashpoint, the sort of reveal of this. It's a combination of all of the teasers we've seen thus far up until this point, but with a bit more context. That context is further expanded upon in the accompanying blog or article posted on the official Arc Raiders site entitled Flashpoint Update, Find the Truth. A brief synopsis for this update has detailed that Shredders are escaping containment, novel laser-equipped Arc are sweeping the skies, and hulking unarmed machines are making controlled landings across the grounds. Their hulls likely packed with salvageable resources. It won't be easy, but with some new shooters in your backpack and a taste for fresh loot, who could refuse? So those two sentences basically runs down everything we see content-wise being added in here. Let's start out with the map condition, because this is going to be something that kind of sets the stage like we saw with the Hurricane event back in the Shrouded Skies update. This condition is called Close Scrutiny, the first of a new set of major map conditions, it seems, with the overarching conditions now being called Arc Operations. Now, it's unclear if that's just a rebranding of the map conditions, like existing things like a Night Raid, Electromagnetic Storm, Cold Snap, that kind of stuff, or if it's going to be truly the first of a new subset of those conditions that we'll have to see in time, but this first one is called Close Scrutiny. In lore, what you're seeing right now is called the Assessor, a large probe of some kind, or so they think, that appears to be visible from all over the map based off these seemingly 3 beams of light you'll see akin to the Surveyor, a signal in the sky to make their presence is known. The probe itself is found here in this map condition, and so far, only in this map condition. It's lootable, it's big, but it also has a ton of Arc patrolling the area, it said, so you'll have to bring quite the firepower to maybe take all that out and get it to yourself. But why it's interesting, and this condition's interesting, is that there's less loot available around the map, it said. An interesting sort of like hard cut deviation from what we normally see, where you have increased loot yields or like better chances of higher tier loot. This is the opposite, where the rest of the map doesn't have as much, but you're now focusing more on these assessors. It is said that there's some riches lying within the probe, so we don't know the full extent of what that will entail, but one of the weapons being added with this update tomorrow does actually come along with a blueprint that does seem to be Assessor Loot Pool exclusive. It's stated you can find it in there, but we'll touch on that soon. As for your new Arc enemy, this one you'll find around that Assessor is the Vaporizer. So that UFO Arc, yeah, that was the Vaporizer. I think it's pretty cool that we saw this teased from a month ago and it actually amounted to something pretty soon here. I like that if they're going to keep trying to do those kind of things with teases, keep us guessing while also giving insight into what's next. But this will be found likely around the map as well, but it's explicitly mentioned to be stalking the areas around the operation for the Assessor. So guarding it, it seems. So you're going to have to take that out if you want to try and get the loot here with that, but it's stated it has devastating laser attacks and idiosyncratic attack patterns. So likely dealing a large amount of damage. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of shapes up, to see the attack patterns that it has, of course, but as for Raiders, how you can take that out with relative ease. Like, what's the best ways to take this out? It'll be fun trying to figure that kind of stuff out. Now, as for the weaponry we see, of course, we saw a teaser like a week or so back now at this point, where we thought it would maybe be one weapon. We actually have 2 weapons coming with this update and a new utility item. The Canto is a submachine gun that will give you a fighting chance against Arc in close quarters that, while running on medium ammunition, this weapon will keep the machines and opportunistic raiders at an arm's length, it said. I'm interested to see what this one ends up becoming in the gameplay experience itself. Like, I'm interested to see if this has any meta appeal. At its core, an SMG with medium ammo has the potential to absolutely rip through enemies, medium dealing more damage naturally than light ammo, so I'm curious if we see any sort of balancing element to that where this has has a lower fire rate or like a lower magazine capacity with a lessened ability to upgrade that. Those types of things often being two trade-offs you see in shooter games with anything that has a damage increase by comparison. So I'm curious to see where this will fall on the spectrum of the weapons that we have available to us. Next, the Delabra, it said, gives raiders a new way to punch through arc armor plating in close range. This energy shotgun features a variable focus, allowing you to fire a wide burst or a focused funnel of electricity. Head to the close scrutiny arc operation for the best chance of finding this blueprint. So, not quite a launcher like theorized, but it is something that is going to be able to pack a punch in close quarters, this seemingly being more for PvE as well, with the explicit mention of shredding arc armor. But I kind of like that. I mean, we have two shotguns right now that do excel a bit more in PvP, but in terms of PvE play, it's kind of missing that element here. So it adds something to the fold for players that would like a PvE shotgun of some kind, but we'll see how that works. The Surge Coil is the new utility item that isn't quite a weapon, but will be something that mixes in with these new tools that we have at our disposal. It's said to be better safe than sorry. Sometimes you need that peace of mind that nobody's going to sneak up on you while you're otherwise engaged. The Surge Coil is a deployable device that periodically electrifies its surroundings, shocking anything that drifts into its orbit. So kind of like a just safety net here with this. We don't know how large that radius is going to be on the Surge Coil, if it's something that follows you around or if it's like a trap that you can set for a room that gives you an understanding of somebody's approaching, but it is something that will be coming with this update that adds a bit more to that utility you have on offer. Next, we have a new project of the high gain antenna. We don't have specifics for what this will require or what the reward will be just yet, but in lore, it's for better detection because what's coming appears to be stumping Celeste and she needs more data to analyze that threat. So we have to compile all of the stuff to get this and build the high gain antenna and deploy them out in the field, but this will be additive in terms of your projects. It shouldn't remove anything you haven't completed already, so just as a heads up, like this will just be something else to work towards passively if you want to. Then we end up seeing new Scrappy and quality of life changes. The Scrappy update was actually something that I was very curious about because unless you were expanding entirely what Scrappy was able to do, which is kind of what they're doing, there really wasn't a whole ton that would make sense for an update itself, except for perhaps fixing that consistency issue that we have with the bonuses from each expedition and the yield that Scrappy will give you, but different story for a different day. This now says a Scrappy feeding boost, where the bond to your raiding rooster has been deepened and you can now increase the types of loot that Scrappy collects by feeding him particular items. Out of gratitude, Scrappy will also drop you some more valuable items so long as you continue to feed him. So it seems like it's almost like a, I kind of think of like a Tamagotchi type of effect here. You got to kind of have that give and take caretaker sort of relationship with Scrappy now, as opposed to just simply hitting claim. So I'm curious to see what we need to end up feeding Scrappy and what kind of things he can end up bringing back to you. So we'll see. But anyways, other quality of life improvements include crafting improvements, something that is actually very nice to see here, where Embark had said, we know that crafting the perfect loadout takes time. That's why we're introducing some handy improvements to the crafting system, streamlining your time in Speranza. When crafting, raiders will now have the ability to fulfill missing materials directly, reducing time jumping between tabs. When materials are missing, raiders will be presented with a list of available resources, letting you recycle, refine, or purchase that in a single window, which definitely cool, man. Like that's something people have been asking for since launch. So all for that. Really big fan of that. And of course, then we have the shredders that will be making its way out of Stella Montis as another quality of life update here to the gameplay loop. Maybe not something that is classified directly as a quality of life item because, you know, that thing's coming for your life. It's not trying to make it better. But anyways, you're going to end up seeing this on Bluegate, Buried City, Spaceport, and Dam. So all of the maps are being touched now. I'm just really hoping I don't breach open that 6th floor of space travel or the double-sided breachable room by Grandioso and am immediately met with a shredder right in my face. That would be, it'd be problematic, but you know, who knows? Anyways, that will be expanded upon. And the final thing they talked about was just some more cosmetic stuff. The Wasp Hunter set is going to be introduced as of tomorrow's update, which is basically free skins if you plan on purchasing Raider tokens, because it is a $20 bundle, but comes with the 2,400 Raider tokens and the skins. So again, that kind of price just covers the Raider tokens, while the skin itself is going to be just a bonus, essentially. And then you have other cosmetics coming throughout the season they detailed, where you end up having the Brigade set. That's that Roman Centurion looking skin. The Vanguard set is the sort of riot gear, and then the Nascosto set is the sort of partial ghillie, like sort of ghost looking effect, but those will be coming throughout the month of April, but just rounds out what we know of with the update. So that said, overall, some pretty substantial and impactful updates here. Obviously, we don't know the extent of the gameplay changes in regards to the patch notes just yet, but a bit larger of an offering and impactful of an offering compared to what we thought this would be just a few weeks ago. Now, of course, it's perfectly natural and fine to look towards the next update with Riven Tides at the end of April. That's sort of beacon for many players with a new map coming and a new large arc coming and whatever else may be included in that. But for the time being, I'm looking forward to jumping into the new content and seeing how it plays throughout the game's environments. What do you think though? Let me know your thoughts, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe for more Arc Raiders and other FPS content. I'd love to have in the community, but for now, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a ton of stuff for Flashpoint, but until then, take care and peace.